in the Primal Method, what we try to help people realize is if we still want to have and maintain and earn that right to run, walk, and jump efficiently and effectively without our bodies breaking down, without our bodies compensating, then we have to continue to hone in those skills in the same way that we originally learned that movement. So that's honoring those developmental sequencing patterns that we've learned from 0 to 3 years of life.
Welcome to the Dr. J.J. Thomas Podcast.
Hey everybody, I have a really special treat for you today. My videographer and social media team grabbed me sort of impromptu the other day and started questioning me about the Primal Method and some of the things we do. And we had a really great discussion that we were able to capture on video. And one of the things we talked about is essentially why we break down as adults. Why do we break down? Why do people think it's normal to just break down? The people say like, I'm just getting old. No, I refuse to accept that. There's a reason behind it, and we can have some control over it if we understand why we break down. In this episode, we talk about the Primal Method and the fundamental concepts of the Primal Method, and especially what we can do, what we can change, what we can control to limit that breakdown. I think it's very easy to understand in the analogies I give. I think and hope you'll really enjoy it. Reach out to me if you have any questions or comments. Talk soon.
If you have a quarterback from age 8 to age 16, he's training to be a quarterback. And he's throwing lots and lots of reps, and he's gaining accuracy in his throw. He's working on that skill, he's refining that skill. And then he just stops throwing for like 2 years. And then he picks up that football again after 2 years. He's not gonna have the same accuracy he had. Because as humans, in order to maintain proficiency in a skill, we have to exercise that skill and practice that skill and continue with the high reps of that skill. Now take that quarterback concept and apply it to us with walking and running and jumping. When we're babies, we're born and we earn the right to run, walk, and jump in that first 0 to 3 years of life. We develop that skill through very deliberate, innate, intentional milestones, motor milestones that we have to achieve in order to earn the right to walk, run, and jump. Then 3 years becomes 10 years. We're working on all those things. And then we get into college and we start sitting and studying a lot, and we stop doing those things a little bit more. And then we get into the working world and we spend most of our day either sitting or standing or whatever it is. Or even if, let's say even prior to that, if they're an athlete and they're doing predominantly one activity but not much of another activity. So when we start to really focus on one skill and lose other skills, then if we don't keep training them, we're going to be just like that quarterback and we're going to lose our accuracy. So in the Primal Method, what we try to help people realize is if we still want to have and maintain and earn that right to run, walk, and jump efficiently and effectively without our bodies breaking down, without our bodies compensating, then we have to continue to hone in those skills in the same way that we originally learned that movement. So that's honoring those developmental sequencing patterns that we've learned from 0 to 3 years of life. And essentially that's following those plans. If you think about how a baby learns to do those things, they're born and they come out literally reflexively swallowing, sucking in order to feed. They develop vision somewhere around the same time. It's like developing, it takes a little while. It's not, as soon as you're born, they can't really see, but they have the reflexes to root and nurse. But then from there, they develop head control. And then right after head control, they start to get scapular control. So they're in tummy time, head control, scapular control. And then what do they do next? They start to want to roll, right? They're on their bellies. They're looking up, where's my mom? And they start to reach, oh my God, what's that toy there? And they start to do this. And now they're developing their head and their neck control better. They're developing their vision better. They're correlating it to their spinal erectors in their neck. And they're developing what we call reaching rolling patterns. And so only after they start to develop those, now what happens when we're reaching and rolling, we're developing our oblique muscles. And what are we going to need those for? Eventually we're going to need oblique muscles for quadruped asymmetrical crawling, right? There's no way they're going to be able to crawl until they've developed those reaching rolling patterns. So they get into that quadruped position. First, actually, before quadruped position, they start that rocking. They're starting to develop their joint position sense, where they are in space, and developing the musculature to feed that joint position sense so that they can input equals output, so that they can have the input they need to produce an output. And then from that quadruped position, then they'll start to learn to crawl, right? More asymmetrical stability. And then only after they crawl do they start to prop up to maybe a tripod position. Again, more asymmetrical stability, more rotational control, more spinal erector activation. And then eventually they work their way up to a stand. And it's a pretty, it's kind of an unstable stand, but they get there. Once they have that unstable stand, they start to sink deep into their hips for a deep squat, and they start to play at the table in that position. All around that same time, when they're in that deep squat, which many of us as adults have lost, in that deep squat, they're gaining, again, more core stability, more spinal erector strength and stability, and they're developing their hip sockets. And through that, after all of those phases, is when they start to have enough strength and stability to be bipedal, to be upright on 2 feet. And then they can translate into single leg stance for walking. And then they can get explosiveness for running and jumping. But my point is, if we don't continue to work on that proficiency of each of those skills in that developmental sequencing as adults, we will lose our efficiency, and that's when compensation happens. And when compensation happens, things break down, and then we hurt. And then we stop doing things, and then it's a vicious cycle.